Hi everybody, Army P here for Explorminate, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Stellaris 2.0 with the expansion Apocalypse. Now we're going to kick it off without further ado. On our first episode, we basically kind of just did the very basics of how the border systems work. And now we ended up right next to the Solarian Alliance, who ended up having the exact same government and ethics we did. So I'm pretty sure, like, you could already see here that he already loves us. We've got a plus 80%, which is just massive. But that being said, I do want to kind of make it difficult for him to expand. Even though we're friends, I still want my monies. I decided that I'm going to show you guys a little bit. Ooh, we are really low on money. There we go. And of course, our traditions got through. I'm going to take this opportunity to show you a little bit about the changes when it comes to the ships. Now, here's our Corvette. This is from the humanoid pack. Not too shabby. First thing you're going to notice off the bat, oh my gosh, guess what I have? I have both small drivers, small lasers, and if I change the interceptor to a missile boat, I've got missiles. So I get all three right off the beginning, which, quite frankly, makes sense to me. Because if you ended up getting a bad roll, you could actually hurt yourself later on. Because, believe it or not, even though if you haven't played the game in quite a while, by 1.8 they changed missiles enough to make them quite viable and quite dangerous, especially if you equipped them on to, let's say, like a torpedo boat on a cruiser. I'm going to get off track here. I'm trying to maintain focus. Anyway, the idea being here is that you get all three right off the top. So, with you get all three, you can customize whatever you're going to need at the time. This standard layout is 2 mass drivers and some red lasers. What you're going to notice is down here, I can't put things like my fusion reactor. The fusion reactor is built right into the actual ship, and what you can do is change it. And as I start to develop more fusion reactors, they'll start to come back online, and I'll be able to, have more power. Everything else is pretty standard. You got yourself your actual hyperdrive, your radar systems, your sublight chemical thrusters, and this is a basic combat computer. Every basic combat computer, it can be customized. It's not just one. They're not all just, +5 to hit or +5 for tracking. An interesting note, and this is one of the other changes, is that you've got your deflectors, which are your shields and your armor. You'll notice here that, and this is probably a good point to do this, so if I click here, each one has 3 bars. The top one, blue one, is your shields. The second one is your armor, and the third and last one is your actual hull integrity. It's your hit points, if you would call them that. So you actually have to burn down all 3 for this ship to actually get destroyed. The survivability of ships has gone up way more than it used to be. Used to be that Corvettes were just throwaway pieces of toys. You can make them viable enough, especially with the new evasion tactics that we have, and we'll get back to that when we get into the combat situation. But you can see here, going to my Nazarog station, the hull points, I've got 10,000 on this, but the armor's at 2945 and shields at 19 or 945. So essentially, you have to burn down the shields, the hull, and then the integrity, the actual HP of the actual unit itself, hull points, to destroy it. It's not like it's a mixed bag. It's far more comprehensive now, especially because you're going to know that if you... See, before you had this weird thing where you could actually damage all 3 at the same time. So in the end, you just tried to burn one down and then just do hull damage, because hull damage and your armor was essentially just a damage reduction. Now it's like a second layer of hit points. So it's much more interesting being able to get into large confrontations, to be able to see your enemy, knowing you got your full complement of different weapons you want, and then really customize it later. And it's all done really nicely with the UI. You're able to see it very clearly and effectively right there. I'm going to show you the ship designer, which is the defensive platform. Now, these defensive platforms, if you remember for 1.9, were just something that you built inside of your system to either, block hyperspace or very poorly affect people when it comes to this. This is not the case anymore. These defensive platforms, and this is really cool, have the exact same scenario that you have. I don't have anything built up, so this is pretty standard. But what you do is you build them under your defense platforms. So that defensive platform right here is the same thing as this defensive platform, and you can build up to 6 of them, and they'll upgrade. You'll be able to build like 9 and 12 later on, but right now I think we could build how many? We could build 6 to start, and they circle the starbase, and they're essentially like mini floating turrets. So in the end, you have to beat those down for them to stop firing at you. It also makes it so that each defensive platform, you're going to have tons of different weapon systems firing at you, making swarms of ships much more less dangerous, because before you just swarm it because there was no way your old starbase had like 1 weapon system. So if it shot like 12 ships but you were bringing a 16 or 20 or 50 or 100 corvettes to a fight, it never had a chance. So that's going to be something that we're going to be playing a little later when we start tuck and tailing and get going. Perfect. We got our next tradition, which is Planetary Survey Corps. Of course, we're going to take that because I want my monies. So you can see here, pardon me, magnetic reversal, good. We're going to continue on pushing out our borders. We got the sublight exploration event. I'm not going to go too deep into this. There's just so much going on with this Stellaris 2.0. I want to show you off all those kind of details. So if I'm skipping through some of these events, these anomaly events, please don't get upset with me. It's just because there's so much more to show you besides things that you could possibly see in 1.9. And again, we're faced with another option. Improved Corvette hulls. Corvette hull points go up by 100%. Again, this is not something that you attach to your starbase. It's just an Empire modifier. Okay, sure. I am really, really, really low on minerals. I do not think, if I do, just going to do some outside math here. For 10 months is, so by a little less than 2 years, I'm going to be doing, paying that back. I don't know if that's worth taking it. Oh, looks like we've got some Delta aliens. Where are you coming from, sir? Oh, look at this. I wonder if I can get that sector before the Sularian does. Okay, what do we got? We got some Delta Alien. I want a special project. 7 months. What have I got doing on my social? Oh yeah, that's totally doable. That's totally doable. Okay, we're going to see who this guy is. We've got a lot of traffic going on considering the size of this map. Okay, I do not think I'm going to be interested in going anywhere here, just because you can see where the hyperlink locations are. That's pretty much where they're going to go, and I don't want to extend my borders out in that kind of loop. So I'm going to take my science ship, and now you can see, and I've played several battles in this game, not this particular game, but in a game I was trying out before. Oh man, I really want minerals. Okay, well, he's got that. I am actually going to... Nah, I want to colonize it. I'm so conflicted. Nah, it's not a good idea. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm running out of low energy. Anyway, I've played combat quite a bit. In a previous game I played just to, muck around and learn a little bit about the systems as they were kind of going on. And I will tell you something right now. Large lumbering doom stacks is totally still viable. They didn't break doom stacks or whatever, but the way that they fixed it was that they made it the most or non-effective ways to try to do battle. The way that they have done it so that you, with your science ship, that one that I just picked up, having to go through all these different locations, it's incredibly slow. And when you have multiple fleets invading in multiple different angles and through different hyperlanes into a empire, and just smashing and grabbing as much as you can, because you have to remember the way that they've changed it now, that if I spam in there to an enemy starbase, I own it. It's mine. In fact, you have to come back and actually, it's like I've disabled the space station around the star, at the outpost, and I've converted it to mine. So if I start doing that at 3 times the speed that you can, eventually I'm going to start conquering way more than you. It's kind of a rough explanation, but I can tell you right now, having seen it firsthand, it's actually pretty darn impressive to see how they've kind of, you know, changed these things up. Now, doom stacks are probably never going to fully go away, because you're going to need them to get around certain, you know, massive structure. Ooh, look at that! +8 minerals. That's what Daddy needs. Then you're never going to get away with that, because if some people build a fortress that's got, you know, 45 to 55,000, the affinity equation, military points, you're going to need to do that. Oh, look, we got the Synthoid supervisors. This is the one that I made. I would have really liked someone else. Apologize in advance. So we got some rogue servitors. They want to make sure that everybody's next happy and awesome. We're delighted to meet you. So they are unbelievable. We got 3 people that are unbelievably close. And I wonder, do I have enough? I think I'm going to try to grab this system before anybody else. That would be a really good system to have. And then I'm going to focus up here. Wow, if I could grab that, that could really put a damper on it. Now, that being said, I don't like rogue servitors. They want to enslave people and take away our free will. And us at the Explorminators are all about democracy and the freedom of the individual. So, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to tick them off, but I think, why can't I declare rivalry? This is interesting. Declare rivalry. How come I can't do that? Declares Synthoid supervisors to be a rival. Grants animosity, Kalispell on the Synthoid supervisor. That's fine. Only neighboring empires with a relative power greater than pathetic and less than overwhelming. Oh, wow. I have to be... That's interesting. I thought that... Do I have to be neighbors? I guess it means that you can't just declare someone a rival from across. I'm at a loss of words. I can't quite figure out why we're not going to be able to be rivals. Weird, weird, weird. Can I do rivals to him? I can't. Why not? Has there been something changed when it comes to egalitarianism that I didn't pay attention to? Must have allows cannot empower some. Where that is odd. If you're watching this right now, I cannot quite figure out why I cannot do it unless there's a. Is there a thing where I can't call them right away? I don't know. Keep an eye on it, but I don't know if there's a bug. I am playing on like the pre-code where, and I can tell you my last game I was able to, so it is quite bizarre. But for some reason I cannot seem to. Subsys anomaly. Ooh, get out of there. That's not good. Oh, that's really not good. If we're gonna get trapped in here, it means that we've only got really one place to expand now when it comes to the west side of the map. Not good. I'm gonna have to build up my... Oh, I lost it. Boy, this is it's gonna turn into one heck of a show. Okay, well, we're going to take this high research ability and do that. I can't believe I lost that. And my construction ship over here, I'm going to get you to build my starbase. We want this +8. We can't really muck around anymore. Anyway, the really bad part about that is I can't figure out why I cannot declare them a rival. Oh, now I can. I wonder if it has to do with the first number of years that you end up meeting them. You can't do it. That was really bizarre. Okay, not to get too far off track. Yeah, we're kind of snapped in here a little bit, aren't we?
Anomaly detected.
We really can't push anywhere without clearing out some of these space anomalies. Obviously, the space anomaly was 700 or 487 is where we want to go. That's fine. Growth speed is... Oh, ooh, what's this? Monthly Unity? 540 or grow speed. And it unlocks some additional edicts. We should probably look at edicts because there's a bit change there. Grow speed 10%. How's our unity, by the way? That's pretty good. No, that 5 unity is going to pay off more than having 1 extra pop out of 10. So that's what we're going to do. And that's where we're going to go. 10. Okay, so I wanted to kind of show you a little bit of quality of life issues when it comes to the UI bar. If you notice here, this little arrow means that there's something on this planet that can be upgraded, which is my science lab. You'll notice here, this little indication here, it's like a piece of a puzzle. If I go there, it's telling me the starbase has unused modules. And I haven't put a module down because I doesn't see the need for it yet, but I can put anything I want on this. And the game is now filled with all these little tiny icons that just make life just a lot easier to deal with. What are we going to do here? I've got Titran. Yeah, he's 5%. That's good. So we've only got one place to go. I cannot believe I lost that system. I'm really getting nervous here.
Construction complete.
Okay, that's the way we're going to go that way. I guess we'll just... is this 4 for 2 or 4 for 1? That's 4 for 2. Boy, I am boxed in right here right quick. I am going to be going for some research just because in my borders I don't have anything except for this continental world. And quite frankly, I probably should be saving up for that because if I'm trapped in these borders real quick, I'm going to be in trouble. Additionally, we probably should be building some more corvettes pretty quick here because I don't want to get attacked by pirates because pirates have changed quite a bit too. They're not. They definitely can cause you a lot of controversy. Okay, so we're gonna grab this starbase here and start expanding. Looks like we're running low on energy, so we're gonna do it that way as well. Perfect. Okay, so I'm kind of waiting for the Solarians here, or Solarian, to start declaring rivals of his rogue servitor. It doesn't look like they're going to just yet, but you got to think with this much border friction. Fascinating. We won't go to the Infinity till much later because I'm busy doing this, but I'm hoping that those two get on each other because we want to definitely be a part of whoever the winner is. And let's face it, we kind of it'd be great to actually have them a part of us. In fact, I don't know, maybe we should just form a non-aggression pact with them right now. Yeah, that's what we should do. We have to save them for the potential of any type of damage versus the rogue servitors. And let's face it, they're going to be fighting for the same space down here. You can already see where their borders are going to be certain clashing. We cannot see what either of us would stand to win from a war. We agree to enter a non-aggression pact. Good man. Good man.
Construction complete.
Okay. So that's pretty much where we're sitting right now. Not too shabby. We did get really tight quarters. Another thing I will say is I absolutely love the new border system. You can turn it off and just kind of see how it looks right there. That's one of the options. But I love that. It's much more clear. It's much more defined. You can't be in a situation where you can leapfrog ahead and actually kind of get trapped in that one little bubble like you could in the Frontier Force. It's much more organic. So, and I just like the way that it looks too. Okay, so the Explormination is not doing too shabby. Energy is on a tad on the low side, but nothing to be too upset about. And perfect. What do we got here? Oh, see, this is the kind of things that you want to do. Always take the 4s, the 3s and the 4s first. And where's my science ship? Looks like we're going all the way there. Let's go and see what this system is. Hopefully we can kind of expand there and take it if we can. And I think what we're going to do What do we got? Research alternatives. That's always good to have. And I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to start to dive into colonizing. Because quite frankly, jeez, I'm torn. This is one thing I will notice. Oh, it looks like we got another alien visiting here. What do we got? Oh, it looks like we're not going anywhere. Alright. And this is one of the things I will tell you about Stellaris 2.0 now that we're, diving into it. And in the raw basics, or at least I've info dumped all over you for the last 2 episodes of this amount of changes, just in case you haven't seen some of the dev diaries. The amount of choices that you have to make at the beginning of the game that are a bit of a struggle is far greater than it was at any other point in the lifespan of Stellaris. Oftentimes it was pretty obvious that you had to do one of two things. You had to colonize as many planets as you could if you were going to build wide, and if you were going to build tall, you expanded your borders with taking very few planets, only the best planets. Now having to choose every system that you're going to take, and the crunch it has on your resources, both minerals, the energy output, the influence, how that's going to affect your science and your unity, is really interesting. And then of course, once you've taken a system, looking around and being like, oh look, I have the access, I've got a choke point where my enemies can't get into here except for right here. Okay, so here's my shipyard. Oh, you know what I should have done? I'm going to spend just a few minutes here talking about the fleet manager, because it's by far one of the coolest things once you learn how to use it. Okay. Do you remember when, I can't remember what it was, I think it was 1.5 when they added the expansion planner and it told you the planets that are inside your systems and you could do it? I never really used it. I never found, I always was able to keep it in my head and do it on my own. But you can, of course, click down and say, okay, I want to colonize it, and then basically automate it from Explormination from that shipyard, and it would automate it for you. But if you clicked on your planet, manually built a colony ship at the same time your expansion planner was doing it, it could create a conflict of interest. Like there would be like 2 colony ships showing up, or one would just sit in space dock and not do anything. You could forget about it and realize, oh my god, I've been spending 15 energy on this thing for like 100 years. That's the exact same problem I'm having with the fleet manager. The fleet manager is awesome. It's such a useful tool. You can build as many fleets as you want. Okay. You can see here I've got only one small fleet. You can see this little thing, it says 0 to 3. I don't know why it says 0 to 3. It should say more. It should say, 3 of 3. But anyway, it doesn't. So it says here 3 of 3, and then it says 0 of 3. I don't know why. I can set it to whatever spaceport I want, and then as soon as it gets damaged, I just click this button right here, Reinforce Fleet, and that home base that it's sent to starts to build ships instantly and brings them directly to my fleet. I can build several fleets this way and manage them all that way. Upgrade them, change their detailed designs, assign admirals. This is a great, great tool. But guess what? If I do this and then go to my star point and actually start building ships manually, then it mucks the two up, and then I'm creating tons of these like smaller fleets everywhere, and you got to consolidate them, and it's a bit of doing. So although it's a great feature, there's going to be some more. It needs a couple passes for it to be, crystal or super smooth. Because right now it's great. It's a great tool, but it's a bit robust. It's kind of like driving a tractor. It's not meant to look pretty, but it does the job. Okay, everybody, we're kind of getting to the end of this episode. I think what I'm going to do, now that I've seen that and now that I've talked about it, why not I show you what it's going to be building. So I want to build 4, so I'll go to 0. It should say 3 of 4. I don't know why that does that. Anyway, and then I'm going to click on this, and it says I need to spend 159 resources to reinforce it. So because I want to build, I can go up all the way I want. But right now I just want to build a single Corvette into this fleet. I will hit 159. It'll instantly build into the queue. You can see it here on my shipyard. It builds it instantly, and then it'll go. And then we'll just follow this all the way through, and it will go right to my fleet.
Construction complete.
And then it says, and I still don't know why it says that. Why does it say that? I still cannot.
Construction complete.
Why does it say 1 of 4? How come?
Ships upgraded.
See, now it says 4 of what? I don't know. It's a little wonky. I need some more time on it, quite frankly. That's what I need. Oh, I got what, an election? Army P has only been here for 10 years. Time flies when you're having fun. Okay, well, I got 26% of the popular vote. Wow, that's not very good, is it? Wow, that's actually pretty good. Anyway, we're going to see how the election goes and see if Army P has been voted out for the last episode. What I think I'm going to do is I've kind of just info dumped on you guys quite a bit. I'm going to play off screen, just kind of expanding my borders a little bit. And if anything comes up, I'll pop in. But if you notice that we've kind of zoomed past the 2010 point, it's only because I'm going to really try to push, you know, the exploration phase along. Although it's very interesting for me to play as the player, for you guys to watch can be a little bit on the tedious side. If you like that kind of thing, that's great, but when it comes to should it be this system or that system, it's a little dull. Let's face it, I'll probably end up jumping into this when either another Empire comes up, I get a space pirate event, or some other, you know, interesting, noteworthy topic. Okay, everybody, so you can see here we've got the Rogue Supervisors, kind of a recap, the Stellaris Alliance, and Explormination, and a couple of choke points that are stopping our progression as we kind of dig deep into this world and show you guys the wonderful love that is coming with Stellaris 2.0. So this has been Army P, and I'll see you in the next episode.